Welcome to the second grade, one time only musical extravaganza orchestral performance. This second grade has wonderful instruments. This last few weeks we've been studying sound. Those of you who are students who are here in second grade will remember we studied sound. And what we learned was how sounds are created, and we learned also how our ears take in sound and transmit that message to our brain. And what was the one thing that we learned you have to have a sound? Listen, you got to have a vibration. So as we went through and learned about pitch, which is what? What is pitch? Lauren?
High and low.
High and low. And we learned about volume, which, as you know, they are very familiar with volume. What's volume?
Loud and soft.
Loud and soft. Loud seemed to be a little bit easier for some people than soft did. But as we learned about the components of sound, the girls had to kind of keep in the back of their mind that they were going to be designing musical instruments. And those musical instruments had to have three components. There were three rules for the musical instruments. You could make whatever you wanted, but there were three things that the instrument had to do. What was one?
You had to be able to hear it.
You had to be able to hear it. And when we go through and talk to people, you'll see that for some people that was actually a challenge. What was the second thing?
You had to be able to change pitch.
You had to be able to change pitch, which also for some people was difficult and took a lot of work.
Yeah.
And what was the last thing? See if I can get. What was the last thing you had to? You're horrified. Pitch and
Volume.
yeah, and volume. You can say it loud. Volume. So those were the three things you had to be able to do. You had to design something and construct something that people could hear, that you could change pitch pretty easily, and that you could change the volume. So what you're going to see, we're going to go through, and the girls are all going to discuss briefly what they made, and they're going to show you how they change pitch and volume, and then we have a song for you. So we will start. What have you got? What have you got for us,
I made a 2-string guitar.
And can you explain or demonstrate how you change pitch? So what did you have to do? I was going to say that's going. What did you have to do to change the pitch?
I had to put different lengths of string on, and I tried all kinds of string. I tried fishing twine, yarn, but it was too loose, and I tried rubber band, but it didn't work out very well. And then I found this nice string, and it made the sound I wanted it to do.
So when you wanted to make a higher sound, did you have a longer string or a shorter string?
Short.
You had a shorter string. And how about volume? When you changed volume, what did you have to do?
I have to book harder and book softer.
Right. And were you happy with your finished instrument?
Yes.
And what did you like about it? Because you had some design problems at the beginning, right? Finding something that you could, the right stick that was strong enough. And what other? I see you're fiddling around with something there. What was the other challenge that you had with your instrument?
Well, the first time you couldn't hear it, and then she had to put this on, but when I book it, this falls off, and that's why.
So there's some adjusting that needs to be done, and some wood glue, right? But other than that. So were you happy with your finished instrument?
Yeah.
What did you like about it?
I like that the strings were pink.
Yes, you were very happy that the strings were pink. Anya, what did you make?
I made watermelon.
And you also did a lot of experimenting with yours. Can you explain to us a little bit about what you had to work on?
Well, I had to work on filling the jar up with different levels of water, but
Why? What did that do?
that made high sound and low sound.
Can you demonstrate that for us?
And it was kind of hard, because you can see I put Sharpie on, and so it was kind of hard, and I'm gonna get this, and I had to make volume by tapping it harder.
And were you happy with your finished instrument?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay. Ilsa, what did you make?
A flower pot of the base.
You did. And can you explain a little bit about what you made and why you made it?
Well, I don't know why I made it.
They all had so much to say when we were practicing. Just explain, will you demonstrate pitch? for me how you change pitch?
So you pull it back farther, and it tightens the string.
And that makes a higher sound or a lower sound?
Higher.
And if you want to make a lower sound, can you show us how you do that? Very nice. And how about volume on yours?
You have to put harder.
Right. And what did you have? You had some design issues with yours too. What was your challenge?
I had to find the right string.
Because what kept happening?
They either broke or I couldn't get it through this.
Couldn't string it through. Right. And are you happy? You were pretty happy with the finished sound that you got, right? Anything else you want to add? Hannah, what did you make?
I made a thumb piano.
And can you just bring it close to you to the edge of the table, and can you demonstrate how you change pitch and explain what you had to do? So what did you have to do on your instrument to change the pitch?
I had to get popsicle sticks and make them longer and shorter.
And what did the longer sticks make, a higher or a lower sound?
Lower.
Right, the longer the stick, the lower the sound for you. And did you have any problems, or was yours pretty?
I had a problem.
You had problems. What was your problem? What was the challenge that you faced?
Well, I put on the shortest popsicle stick, and when I started plucking it too hard, it broke in half, and I tried to get the other half off of the thing, and there's still...
The wood glue was really good, right? So it's still on there. But other than that, you had a pretty good time figuring out your pitch change. So anything else that you want to add about your instrument? Were you happy with the finished instrument? Very good. Uma, what did you make?
A panpipe.
You made a panpipe, and you knew right from the start that you wanted to make a panpipe, right? And can you demonstrate for us how you change pitch? And so just explain, when you have, what did you have to do?
I had to imagine that I was 7 feet tall and I weighed 400 pounds.
Right. And because initially, what happened when you made your panpipe?
Well,
Do you remember way back when you started, what happened? When you first blew into it?
It didn't make a sound.
Right. We couldn't get a sound out of it, right?
Yeah, so then we put clay in the bottom.
Just show them the bottom. You plugged to the bottom with clay, right? And then you blew into it, but it was a little quiet,
Yeah.
right? So we came up with this great idea that we would have Uma imagine that she was 7 feet tall and she weighed 400 pounds. And then we started to get this great sound. So you showed us pitch, and can you show us volume? Make it a loud, make one of those pitches make a loud sound for us.
All right.
Thank you. And that took a lot of practice, didn't it, to get there? But were you happy with your finished
Yes.
instrument? Anything else you want to say about it? Lauren, what did you make?
Sandbox.
And can you demonstrate for us how you changed pitch and volume? Because explain too how you got to the sand blocks, because you had a little circuitous route to the sand
I
blocks.
started out doing a flute, but then I couldn't find a good idea. Then I looked at a garden hose recorder and it didn't make any sound. Then I found sand blocks, and I just wanted to make sand blocks.
But what was the challenge with the sand blocks?
Trying to get the thumbtacks in.
Yeah,
and
but
also figuring out how to change it from high to low.
right, changing pitch was a problem, right? So what did you come up with? You came up with, I thought, a very clever way to do
I
it.
came up with strapping them and to make a higher sound and clapping them to make a lower.
So just demonstrate again for us. So you got two different pitches. And volume, what do you have to do to change
I
volume?
either have to rap harder or clap harder.
Excellent. Anything else? Oh, tell us about the one really difficult thing that you had to face.
Getting the thumbtacks.
Getting the thumbtacks in, and you finally got to use the hammer, right? Which you were very happy with. So, there you go. Anything else you want to add? And were you happy with your finished sandblocks? And I told her this was, she's one of 3 in here, I think, whose older sisters also did this. And she is the first person who's ever made sandblocks. So that was kind of an interesting thing. So thank you, Lauren. What'd you make, Alexis?
I make clay pot signs.
And tell us a little about your clay pot chimes.
Well, they all make different sounds.
Go ahead, show us pitch. And what did you have to do? Because I think when people look at this, they think, oh, it's not, hung some flower pots. How much work did you have to do on these flower pot chimes?
I had to do a lot because you had to get different sized pots. And then you had to tie them on the top and put popsicle sticks on the bottom so they wouldn't fall off the string.
And how did we learn that lesson?
Because one broke.
Because we broke a couple of flower pots, right? But what else did you have to do? You had different pots on there. It wasn't just a question of picking up 5 pots and putting them on there. You had to play around with a lot of pots. Why?
They had to be different sizes, and some of them didn't make different sounds, so we had to put clay on top.
So you did a lot of work with, first of all, what pots make the lower sound? The bigger or the smaller?
The bigger.
So just give us a demonstration of the pitch. So it was, and the smaller flower pots came in right at the end, right? So that was kind of fun. Volume?
You hit higher and softer.
Anything else you want to add? Or? Okay, good. I'm going to move over this way. Imani, what did you make?
I made an ear heart.
You made an ear heart. And how did you come to that design? What did you do?
It started out with a few string changes because first I started with fishing twine and it didn't make a very good sound.
You had a lot of problems with being able to hear what you initially did, right? So you had to work hard to be able to hear your instrument. So then what happened?
And then they all sounded the same, so I changed to rubber bands and that worked. And they snapped a few times, but then I found some strong ones.
So can you demonstrate pitch for us? Show us what makes the high and what makes the low.
This makes the high sound. This makes the low sound.
And what was the difference?
The longer the string, the lower the sound.
Exactly. And how about volume, which was also difficult sometimes?
You have to pluck it higher.
Perfect. Anything that you want to add about yours? You came up with a very last minute thing that helped a lot.
Yeah, I came up with using the bridges to keep the strings up so that they weren't flat and always hitting the wood. But the bridges kept falling down. So I put a tack there, and then they stayed up, and it made a better sound.
And we talked a little bit about the fact that by putting those strings up, what did that allow the strings to do better?
It made them sound louder.
Because why? They could vibrate better, right?
Yeah.
So that was one thing that we tried to get across, the idea that you had to have that nice clear vibration, right? Anything else you want to add?
No, okay, thanks.
Drew, what'd you make? You might have to step out, or you know what, Scarlett? I'm going to have you pick up your instrument and just move to the side so people can see Drew back there. Drew, what did you make?
I made
Maracas. You made maple syrup jug maracas, didn't you? And can you explain a little bit about how you change pitch? Or what you did to change pitch?
I put less corn in this one, and I put more corn in this one.
So can you demonstrate the high and the low sound for us? And volume, what do you have to do?
I have to shake harder
Right. And you had a unique challenge every day when you came in. And can you explain what that was?
There was extra syrup inside here, so the corn was getting stuck in the water.
So we had a very high-tech way of solving that problem, and what was it?
I had to bang it.
You had to loosen the corn, right? Smash the container on the table. You happy with your finished instrument? Okay, good. Anything else you want to add? No? Okay, thank you. Ellen, what did you make?
I made drums.
And Ellen, you had a little bit of a challenging route to your drums, let's say. What was the challenge with your drums?
Well, it was hard to find what to put on it because everything would break if I hit it too hard. And at first I tried to use one of the big flower pots, and I couldn't find a big rubber band, so I just stuck with these.
Perfect. And can you demonstrate how you changed pitch?
This is high and this is low.
So what did you find made a difference? volume? Just you can pick one and just show us how you change volume. And anything else that you want to add about your instrument? Was there anything else that? No? Were you happy with the finished drums? Because you did a lot of work on what you had to put on the drum, right? It took a lot of work. So, okay, thanks. So, what'd you make?
We made a one-string box.
And you know what? You're going to have to lift that up and turn toward the audience so they can see what you made. And can you show how you changed pitch?
If you pull it forward, it makes a lower sound. If you pull it back, it makes a higher sound.
Right, so you tighten that string and you loosen that string. And how about volume? What do you have to do to change volume?
Pluck harder and softer.
Perfect. Anything you want to say about how you made it, or did you have any problems with yours at the beginning? What problem did you have with yours?
Well, this was supposed to go through the side, but we couldn't find a saw.
That would cut through it, right? Right. So we had to come up with a sort of alternate design, right? And it worked out. It worked out well. Were you happy with the finished product? Excellent. Geneva, you're going to have to stand. And what did you make? You made a French horn. And can you demonstrate or explain what you have to do to change pitch?
Tighten your lips.
So if you tighten your lips, does that make a higher sound or a lower sound?
Higher.
It makes a higher sound. And so I'm going to have you demonstrate. You might want to back up a little bit. Just demonstrate for us a high sound. Could you demonstrate a high sound? And now, thank you. And can you demonstrate a low sound, please? Thank you. Now, and I always laugh because it's always the smallest people in the class that decide to do the blowing instruments. It's so funny. And Geneva, can you just show us how you change volume? Right, okay. Okay. Good. I was always worried she was going to pass out after that. Okay, so explain to us, we know how you change pitch and volume. Explain to us any design issues that you had. Was it pretty easy or was it hard? Was there anything that gave you trouble?
Well, it was hard because I really had to go really hard.
And it took a lot of practice, didn't it, at first? You were actually the first person finished with your instrument, but you had to work really hard to get a really good sound, and you did. You really did a really good job getting a nice, loud, clear sound out of your French horn. There was one thing that did give you a little bit of trouble at the end. Do you remember what that was? With your funnel? What kept happening?
We were trying this,
Yep.
It keep on going up,
Right.
and I had to take it back on, but there was like a big hole in the middle of the tape,
Right.
so I had to undo the tape, and then we had to.
Right, because we saw both, like with Imani's thing and your thing, that being able to have that tube closed so that vibration was good and got through the funnel was really important. So, were you happy with your finished horn? Okay, good. And some of these will be going home with you, so you can hear them all you want. I am now going to turn this over to Marcia, and